This particular stream, we are building in public. We are day 25 out of 30 building and launching an AI application. Starting to run out of time. It's been moving a lot faster than I thought it would, in part because of, well, this is my fault. I have extended the scope. I should not have done so. I knew that extending the scope was going to be an issue, but it's fine. It just means that we are moving towards having to beta test and having to launch, and it's all getting a bit compressed. Entirely my fault. That is not the tool's fault. That is my fault for trying to do too much in a short amount of time. So we are 25 hours into the project, and we've got the basic functionality working. I'm just changing the onboarding at the moment so that we can get people in and using the application with as little friction as possible, which is going to help with the beta testing, but also for the launch when we open it up. Okay, so so what we were doing, we were adding anonymous, the ability to generate the ideas anonymously. So what I'm going to do is pull up an anonymous window. We tested TikTok and it worked. Let's test Instagram. I'm not sure if that works anonymously yet. That's annoying. I need an Instagram video. Okay, grab one of Nat's because she happened to pop up first. So I'm going to copy the link address. I'm going to hop over to my anonymous window, which is here, and this is Instagram. This is a different problem, which is, there we go. If I click on that, so this, can you see this has got the P/ whatever that code is. This works, but not the username followed by real, but this is actually the code. So what one thing I need to do, let me add it to my to-dos, is Instagram URL format. So this is okay, and this one is not okay. So basically they both have the same ID at the end, the video ID. We just need to make sure that my tool converts it. So that's a different issue, but that's something we can deal with. Right, let's see if this can work anonymously. And then we'll test YouTube, and we'll test text. Okay, that did not work. Let's see what happened. So we've got 3 error messages here. I can see anonymous. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab this whole thing. So yesterday we got TikTok working. Let's quickly get Instagram working. Hopefully it'll be simpler. Oops, a daisy. Excuse me. Hopefully it'll be simpler than now that we've done one. So we need to do the same with Instagram. On the front page, no login required anonymous session. So because I've already done it, it already knows the context, so it should be simpler. Currently, when inputting an IG video, I get this error. So just feeding that back into the tool itself. Good morning or good afternoon. It's a slow day today. Good afternoon to TikTok. I was at an event last night, a Google event, a very interesting one. It was at so Stormzy, the I guess rapper, has a 1990s mock-up house here in London. So it's like going to a house party in the 90s, but it was a Google Gemini event for DIY and renovation influencers, showing them how they could use Google Gemini's video mode to help them with DIY projects, because you can point it at something that's not working, or like holes in your wall, and you can ask, hey Gemini, how do I fix this kind of stuff? So it was a Google Gemini event at Stormzy's house for Instagram renovation and DIY people, hosted by Dick and Dom, the child kind of kids shows presenters. The whole thing was a bit of a fever dream, but it was a really well put together event, certainly memorable. Okay, so that it's done some work. Let's see if that will work. So we're going to grab again Nat's video, and that's the correct URL. And we're I'm going to go to here, Instagram. Oh, did I push it? I didn't push it, did I? I've got a security error that I will deal with. I always deal with them off stream because they're a bit boring. And because it's not actually live, these errors don't really matter at the moment. And sometimes they're things like transaction related, but I haven't added any payment, so it's not really relevant. Actually, I'm going to refresh this. Instagram, and see if that works. No. Is it a different? That seems to be the same. It's an internal server error, so I'm getting a 500. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the error code, put it into chat mode, and then use my voice. So, hey, Lovable, I'm hitting exactly the same problem. Take a moment to review our passcode. Have a look what we did with the TikTok scraper in anonymous mode. But bear in mind, with the Instagram scraper, we need to use the in-video IQ / video transcriber. So it's a different Apify API. The one in the dashboard / dashboard works. We need to bring that functionality to the front page of the website and allow it to be used anonymously. Thank you. So I'm using the chat mode, which allows me to ask Lovable to discuss the problem with me before rushing in and implementing immediately. Because otherwise it's going to think it's found a problem. It may or may not have, and it will rush in and do a fix, which may or may not work. So we're just going to take a bit of time with it. What do you think of Cursor versus Lovable? Different tools for different jobs. I love Cursor. Cursor I use as my kind of day-to-day. I'm using Lovable for this particular stream to show people how anyone can do vibe coding. So we're kind of reducing the barriers to entry. There's also Bolt, which they've just released V2, I think on Tuesday, and it's got a lot better apparently. I haven't used it for a project yet, so I need to hop over and try that again. But Cursor is a really good tool. It's more complicated than using Lovable, but it gives you more power. So it allows you to build more complicated things, but you also need to know what you're doing, whereas Lovable is a much better kind of entryway into vibe coding. Yes, it uses a completely different Apify actor, which has a different API structure, yes. So it was using entirely the wrong Apify actor, so that's the reason. Implementation fixed Instagram anonymous, yes. Change required, change the function to use the correct Apify actor, awesome, all right. Basically, yes. Okay, go ahead. Bolt is very similar. So there's a whole bunch. There's Replete or Replit. I've never actually heard anyone say it. Replit. Bolt. There is V0 by Vercel. There is Base 44, which is now owned by Wix. So they're all very similar. I personally, my favorite at the moment is Lovable, but other people like different applications. But you'll see when you log on to all of them, they basically have a chat window, and you can start building your directly with these tools. You basically type in what you want to build and it will get started on it. So Bolt just added their own integrated backend in the same way that Lovable has, so that makes it a lot easier. Replete or Replit is, I would say, a bit more complex but also very powerful, and you can build different types of applications. Bolt and Lovable tend to be web app focused. Not always. You can build other things, but they lean towards web apps. V0 I haven't used enough to talk about, honestly, but they look like they're web apps. And Base 44 does really good websites because it's owned by Wix as well. So if you want to make a site that will rank, search engine optimization, Base 44 is going to be a good idea because it works with Wix, whereas Lovable is not so good. So it kind of depends what you're building. and it is confusing because there are so many tools out there. Okay, let's see if that works. Update. Have you tried Claude Sonnet 4? Yes, yeah. It came out on Monday. So we're now using 4.5 in the back end of Lovable, but I'm using it on a daily basis. It's become my go-to model. I have a so Anthropic have gifted me a Claude account. I think the max 20x. It's like the highest level account. So I have unlimited usage of Opus, more or less. Even with unlimited usage of Opus, I'm using 4.5 because it's really good, really good. Okay, it managed to make some security errors. We will check what they are in a minute. Fraudulent credit transactions could be created. Again, we'll deal with them after because they're not that important right now. Okay, so Instagram, grab Nat's video again. Stick it in. Oops, Instagram. Generate. I remember when they first launched and they had a normal ad in the span of a week. There was an AI influencer doing voiceover. Pretty sure the lip sync with Hydra. With Base 44, is that? So Base 44 is... the most interesting thing about Base 44 is set up by basically one person. I've forgotten his name. He built it for about 6 months, 9 months, and then he sold it to Wix for a huge amount of money. Let's have a look. And he basically vibe coded it himself. Shlomo, he worked for 6 months building up Base 44. He sold it to Wix for $80 million. It's a good 6 months work, Shlomo. And that was cash. So it wasn't, normally these deals are like buyouts, etc. You'll have to work with us for a certain amount of time. Nope, just 80 million cash. Invalid YouTube. Well, it's not meant to be YouTube, so let's try that again. Have you been using Sora 2? Yes, I have. It's tricky to use in the UK because we're not meant to have it, but there are workarounds. Basically, you turn on a VPN and then you head to sora.chatgpt.com. Because I don't have a VPN on right now, it will say it's not available. So you VPN to America or Canada and you use this web address. You don't use the telephone version. So a lot of people have been trying to get it on the App Store, but it's not on the App Store. So you come to the web version, and then as long as you have the VPN set, you can access the interface, and then you enter your code, invite code. Okay, that worked. Instagram has worked. So that is working. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. I'm an idiot. I need to be in anonymous mode. So processing anonymous content, anonymous user. Oh no, I don't have a code. I gave away my 4 codes, I'm afraid, a couple of days ago. So you get, there we go, that worked. You get given 4 codes and you can give them, once you get in, you can give them to other people. What I should have done, which I've seen other people do, it's very clever. You say to people, I'm going to give you a code, you give me one back. So, because they get given 4 codes, so they can give you one back, and it basically means you have unlimited codes to give away. But I was not smart enough to do that, so I don't have any left. Cool, Instagram's working. Right, let's pop back and try YouTube. I need to get back to the home page from here, which I can't now because I'm locked in. That's fine. So we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram working in anonymous mode. So we have them working once you're logged in, that's fine, but I want them in anonymous mode, which is a little more complex because we need to temporarily store the lead magnet idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to now try, first we'll check if it works with YouTube videos. I assume it does not. So we shall, right, which one should we do? I need something about AI. What's this? 3.41 minutes. It's perfect. So first I'm going to check if it works in my logged in. Oh, Now this is to do with it using my Google authentication, so that's its own issue. So let's log this in quickly, check if it's working at all, and then if we can confirm it's working internally, then I'll try the anonymous version. And if that doesn't work, then we'll do the fix. So again, we're transferring all of our internal logged in functionality. We're making a version which does not require login, which allows people to get started and to generate something, to realize like, oh, this is useful, and then to sign up. So cool, that works internally. I do actually need to, what actor are we using? We're using this one. So I can actually remove entirely the OAuth. I'm going to do that first before I do anything else. Hey Lovable, when I was logged in, I was logged in and I tried to use the YouTube lead magnet creator from the internal dashboard, so not the homepage but the dashboard, which links to the Apify Actor in-video IQ / video transcript scraper, which works. However, it tried to use my OAuth, my Google OAuth. We need to remove the requirement or remove any routing connected to the OAuth because we're not using that anymore. It should always use the Apify scraper. So again, this is for the logged in version. We need the OAuth and the use of the Google API to get transcripts removed entirely. Can you search for what is happening? Because we tried to remove this before. Review it first and then we'll go through the options. So I'm going to put this into chat mode so we can have a look at it first. The reason this is hanging around is because when I first built this tool, I built it on the official YouTube API, which now I know was a bit of a mistake because that only allows me to scrape YouTube videos that belong to my channel account, which is a bit too limiting. Instead, what I've done is I've built, or I'm using a scraper, which can go and grab that information for me. It takes 3 seconds, it's much faster, it's cheap. It cost me $0.00001 per scrape, so very, very cheap. But there's still remnants of vestiges from the previous methods. We just need to get them out of the way, basically. Bassi says, are you building a landing page? Not quite. So I'm building a tool which allows you to create lead magnets from any video content. So video content on Instagram, video content on TikTok, YouTube, etc. Once I've created the lead magnet, ignore these broken thumbnails, that's on the list to fix. Once I've created the lead magnet, I can, here we go. So this is a lead magnet. Let's see if it works. There we go. It's a checklist based on that video. Off the back of that checklist, I can also create a landing page for, I've forgotten which one it was. I can create a landing page where people can get that lead magnet by giving the email address. So it allows for any content creator to very quickly deploy lead magnets and to deploy landing pages for all of their videos. So previously, and I'll use this as an example. This is Sora's new AI slot machine. The call to action on Fireship is try out Blitzy's CodeGen platform or come to my Discord. Where's the Discord? There's a Discord here. So the call to actions tend to be generic rather than specific to the video. Using this tool, we can create call to actions and lead magnets and the landing pages to host that lead magnet that are specific to each and every single video, which if you are putting out a lot of videos, saves a huge amount of time. And it allows you to gather email addresses. Okay, so let's have a look what it's been doing. Yes, so the OAuth is not being used for transcript extraction. Correct, because we got rid of that, so it's just causing confusion. So it's just getting in the way, basically. The provider token check and the entire Google OAuth link and flow are legacy code. Yes, from when you use the YouTube API directly. Good. So it recognizes that it is legacy. Now that you have this scraper, the one that I was just talking about, you don't need it. So it's blocking users, it's causing confusion, etc. Yes. So we are going to get rid of it. And it has put together a plan to do that. So I'm going to quickly do this because this is something I should have cleaned up properly. And it's coming from the fact it is legacy. I say legacy code. It was only a few weeks ago, so it's not like a inherited code base or anything like that, but it's still causing an issue. How do you have camera and screen share at the same time? So this is TikTok. There is a special, if you click on settings in live, then there's something called dual camera. And you can set it up, and I can also flip it, I think, or maybe not. Can I flip it? Yeah, there we go. I can flip it so you can see me, or I can touch there so you can see the screen. So it's using my back and my front camera. The best way to view the stream though is on YouTube, because I have another camera which is over here. I have the proper microphone, and you can see the screen, the full screen, and it's all in 4K 60 frames per second, so it's much better over on YouTube if you do want to check it out there. But in terms of TikTok, the way I'm doing it is using the dual screen, and then I have you can't see it, but basically a bar which goes across my desk with the phone stuck in front of me, which is why you sometimes see me like looking around like this, because I have to look around my camera. It's a bit annoying, and the reason I'm doing that is because I don't have a PC. I have a Mac, and you cannot stream to TikTok from your desktop unless you have a PC, which is annoying. So I either need to buy a PC or yeah, no, TikTok Studio is PC only, unfortunately. So I need to either buy a PC or run parallels, or it's too complex. So I'm just using the camera here. Okay, so it has apparently gone ahead and removed all of the... Thank you, Fahad. It has removed all of the OAuth. We never ever believe it. We always check. So we're going to hop in and we are going to give it a go. So again, we'll use this. Actually, we use a different video. Thank you, Fahad. Which one should we use? I don't want to use anything too long, just because it costs me a bit more money to run it. Not a huge amount, but so in the dashboard, let's check YouTube works. There we go. So this shouldn't fail the authorization. And then we're going to use this exact method on the anonymous. Okay, that seems to be working. Cool. Mobile evolution adoption checklist, create lead magnets. Are you ready for the future of mobile devices? Create lead magnet, etc. Cool. So that works. So, oh, before I rush in, let's just see if it works. I was assuming it's not going to work in the incognito mode, but it might do. So let's try it. Come on. Nope. Again, that's because we're making an anonymous mode, so we just need to do some tweaks. Okay, Lovable, that fixed the internal YouTube scraper. It no longer uses the OAuth method and uses the scraper, so great, that's working. I now want to go back to the home page and allow an anonymous user to use the YouTube content source and create lead magnet ideas. Currently it does not work. I will provide the error codes from an anonymous session below. Please review the last steps and how we anonymized access for Instagram and TikTok, and then we're going to do the same for YouTube. By the way, the YouTube scraper uses the InVideo IQ / video transcript scraper, and I'm going to give you the error codes from the failed first attempt now. Thank you. Again, I'm going to put it into chat mode just so it can go back through the last implementations for TikTok and Instagram, plus look at this code and come up with the best idea, and then I'll allow it to do what it needs to do. Just went to YouTube stream, but vertical is much better than horizontally for this, annoyingly. Oh, okay. Need code for Sora 2. Yeah, sorry, I don't have any. I'm sure they'll be getting a lot easier to find soon. How much is this costing? Great question. So, Lovable itself starts at $25 a month. Each of these, let's have a look and see how many tokens this last one cost. There is a way to do it. Here we go. Credits used was 2 credits on the last message, for example. So to fix the OAuth cost me 2 credits. On the $25 a month, I think you get 100 credits. So that would have been 1/50th. So they go pretty quickly. I currently have 1,000 credits, so I'm not too worried. Then there are costs for the running the application. So once I launch this, there will be costs every time somebody uses it. So initially, to grab the transcript or to get the information, it costs me not much. Every single run, so every time somebody goes and gets that information, it costs less than $0.000 dollars. So it's so small that it's kind of fallen off the edge. Some of them are costing me, that's $0.001, which is 1/10 of a cent. So very low cost to get the transcription. But then I also have ChatGPT costs. ChatGPT costs also are pretty low. Let's have a look. So I did a day after this. When was this? This was earlier in the week. I spent 35 cents testing it. 22 cents testing it that day. I think the whole of September I probably spent $4. Let's do, I don't know, last 14 days, last 30 days, because I've been building this for about that time. I've spent, I don't know, a couple of dollars. So the building process has cost me, I'd probably say a hundred or so in Lovable, a few dollars in scraping fees, not even that, maybe $1, and then maybe, where's it gone? $2 in OpenAI fees. When I launch this, then every time somebody uses the tool, it will cost me a few cents, but I will charge, you know, $20, $30 a month, and then have a limit to how many generations they can do. So I'll be aiming for a 90% plus profit margin on this. Okay, so let's have a look at this. I can see the issue. We need to update the YouTube handling in the anonymous function. Yes, just like we did with Instagram and TikTok. Yes, exactly. Let me first check how it's doing with the other ones. Cool, perfect. I can see the issue now. Looking at the logs, YouTube transcript is being successfully extracted. Yes, that's the one we just did, wasn't it? 3 trillion. Yes, correct. However, it then failed to pass the AI response. So failed to pass AI response JSON. So JSON is just the kind of format in which it comes back, which looks like this. So it's this kind of text, and it's broken up by like thumbnail, title, duration, view count, and then each line of the transcript. So that's the JSON which is sent back to my application. This is the exact same issue we fixed for the authentication flow. OpenAI response is coming back wrapped in markdown text blocks. Okay, but the anonymous function isn't stripping them before passing. Okay, so it's having a problem with the format coming in. I don't know why it's a problem with the anonymous one, but that is fine. Oh, the anonymous function is missing this logic. Okay, so it copied over the function from my non-anonymous scraper, but for some reason it dropped out something that it needs to get the information in the right format. So it's all very boring, but let's go ahead and implement the plan, because it sounds like it's found it. Yes, the past lives are recorded fully on YouTube. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to shift. I had lunch yesterday with this guy, Marcin. Some of you will know him. We met up in London, had some lunch. And he runs AI Builders, which is a school community. Oh, they've got 600 members. Amazing. What Marcin did is really cool. Is he's inspired me. He spent, pull it up. He spent, I think, 60 days building one like mini product a day. So I think I might actually shift what I'm doing. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm spending 30 days building one product and actually taking it to market, doing the business stuff. What he did is every single day he would build a new project. So like one day will be I'm going to build a web app. One day is going to be I'm going to use Cursor to build, I don't know, a desktop app. Today I'm going to build Netflix, etc. So he has a lot more variety in his projects, and he spends one day doing it. I think I might start doing that for the next project. The reason is, well, it lets me play around with a lot more tools. So I'm not just using Lovable, I can use lots of different things. But kind of more importantly, when we get into the weeds of what I'm doing right now, which is like bug solving and making sure the user flow is, it's just not very interesting to watch. It's what we have to do to make the final product, but I think a more interesting stream would be, hey, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to build a geolocating application that allows you to do XYZ, like just a cool new project every single day that we build the basics of, so we don't have to go into the weeds with back-end authentication and this kind of stuff. I think that's what I'm going to do after this one, based on Marcin. So thank you to Marcin. All right, I fixed the anonymous, so let's go ahead and see if that worked. How can I connect with like-minded individuals that use AI in the UK? I'm in London too, so there's lots of events in London. I was at a Google event yesterday, for example. Oh, really good one. This is handy. So I'm talking at a conference. It is in October, AI for the Rest of Us. It is run by Hannah Foxwell, who is here. So we're actually doing a live stream in 2 hours, and Hannah's running the live stream, and there's a bunch of us talking on it. We're talking about the conference. The conference is going to be in October. Gosh, 2 weeks away. I better write my piece because I'm doing an hour and a half slot. So we're going to be talking about that at the 4 p.m. Conference. So that is a paid conference, but she also runs this community called AI for the Rest of Us. It's about 1,000 people. It's a public group. It's on Meetup, and this is free. So the next one, for example, is the online one that we're doing in a couple of hours. But then there's one. I can't see when the next ones are because of the conference. I think the conference is getting in the way of normal events. Normally they're every couple of weeks up in Shoreditch or somewhere. Yeah, you can see all the last ones here. So definitely have a look at that as a place to come and meet people. And there's lots of other meetups in London for AI. So Meetup is going to be your best bet. Yeah, there's loads of them. And then you'll be able to meet people who are building, people who are creating stuff. Cool. Let's see if that's done. So I need to now check the anonymous one. We are doing what we're doing. Let's do 4 types of people. Okay, YouTube into here. This is our final anonymous generator. Yeah, the tickets for AI for the Rest of Us are about 300 quid, I think, for the conference, but the meetup is free. So it is, yeah, it's a 2-day conference, £360, or 1 day is 180. And let's hop back. There we go. So our YouTube scraper is now also working anonymously. So we are rock and roll. All 3 of them are now working as they need to work. So YouTube is working, TikTok's working, Instagram's working. Text I haven't actually tried. So let's pull in one of my newsletters. So it might fix that one quickly. The reason we added the text one, let's pull this in. So becoming an AI builder. This is an article about how to get into this kind of stuff. So I'm going to grab that and slap it in there. This might not work. So that just worked off the bat. Vibe coding starter checklist, sign up to generate. Cool. So we now have every single one of our tools, YouTube, text, TikTok, and Instagram can now work anonymously. No sign-in required, no credit card, and it allows them to generate their first ideas. We need to remove LinkedIn because I'm not doing LinkedIn. Okay, oops. Okay, that works. Let's remove LinkedIn button from homepage, and I think it's in the dashboard too. Generator dashboard, yes it is. Just tidy up a bit. Oh, you're both from London. Yeah, there's a decent scene. It tends to be around Shoreditch, the digital roundabout, that old street. But obviously a lot of the exciting stuff in AI is happening in America, unfortunately. So the UK is a little bit behind. Well, I say behind. I don't know if we're going to catch up. There aren't any homegrown AI models, unfortunately. I mean, not DeepSeek. That's definitely not homegrown. DeepMind, Google DeepMind is UK based, and Demisa Sabis, but that's owned by Google, so still an American company. But Google in particular run a lot of events here in London, so they're well worth keeping up with. They just had a hackathon, for example. So something like this. If you go to RSVP, so RSVP with google.com. Nope. Oh, okay, it doesn't have a. So they just had a hackathon, which was last weekend, the Travel Light Hackathon with Nuiti. For example, so you can kind of keep an eye out for these kind of sessions. Google run a lot of them. I think Amazon do as well. Okay, so that's now removed. The Instagram, I can see it's gone. Also, so I now want to make that anonymous page look less crap, because right now it doesn't look very good. Right now it looks rubbish. Why does it also have LinkedIn button? So how are we going to do that is the question. So there was a Google event yesterday, which was at Stormzy's, what's it called, house party. It's a very weird event, but enjoyable. House party, which is like a replica 1990s house. I guess, I don't know how old Stormzy is. But it was in there, and it was run by Google Gemini, and that was a lot of fun, and hosted by Dick and Dom. You know, a very, very strange event, but a cool one for an AI event. Now, for this, we need to make it look not crap. Here's a question. No, that's probably overcomplicating things, but so we've got a selector which allows us to choose between different sources. That's cool, but it does kind of add a bit of friction in that somebody who's come to the page has to click to say which source they want to convert, which is a bit of a pain. So I could have a unified URL box which allows them to generate anything. That's a pain. Okay, so I think okay, let's work on the design of the homepage for people who are not logged in, so the anonymous users. So let's design first and foremost for responsive, so for mobile. Underneath generate lead magnets, can you remove no additional cost, because that's not relevant, or make it clear that it is free for them to try. And then under that, can you add some kind of sales page or landing page blurb explaining what the tool is, what it does? So specifically that they can create lead magnets from any content, and then create landing pages and collect emails. But can you kind of write up some copy and maybe draw some flowcharts or diagrams to make it apparent what this does? Also, can we get rid of the purple gradient design? That is extremely Lovable focused. I mean, it looks like a Lovable vibe coded app, so let's adjust that design. Let's do a first pass, and then I'm going to give you some graphical references that we'll go from. Thank you. No, unfortunately, I'm rubbish at design, so I don't have the language to explain what I want. But what we can do is you can go to a page like Dribble, which is, these are the top designs at the moment, and you can use this for inspiration. I mean, none of them are jumping out to me. See, a lot of pages nowadays just look like this. This to me looks like a Lovable page. Oh, let me make sure that's, nope, that had not submitted. So now that I've got the basic functionality in place, I can look, I want to kind of reskin it and make it look better. None of these are exciting, honestly. Something like social media. Oh, sorry, these are for social media sites. I can't think of any sites that are similar to what I'm building. So right now the design, I mean, it's important because I want to make good first impressions, but the main thing is I want it to not look terrible, so I can get people to use it. They can play around, they can kick the tires, we can launch for beta, which I'll be doing tomorrow. And then if people like the basic idea, the foundation, then I'll hire a designer and I'll hire a coder and I'll get everything tightened up. But right now it's proof of concept, so I just need it to not look crap. That's the only thing. But beyond that, I don't care that much. I'm sure there's some designers watching this who are screaming at me right now, but oh, what did you do? Oh God. Well, that's much worse Lovable. Oh. I don't know what you did with this oh God, I hate it. That's my fault. Because I didn't give it any any information. All right, we need we need some examples. Right, let's look at, so make lead magnets from, I could also use Claude to do this research, but I'm going to do a quick and dirty version. Make lead magnets from videos. Let's see what Hayflow doing. Video lead magnets. No, this is, sorry, make text. Oh, Score App. Score App's a decent one. So there's Hayflow. Yeah, this is a bit more like it. Right, so what I'm going to do, this is cheeky. Don't tell Daniel Priestley. Capture. Okay, so I've just captured the screenshot. There we go. So the way I did that, because I did that very fast, but you can see I've now, oh, you might not be able to see it, but I've captured the whole thing as a screenshot. No, I don't think you can see it. I think this is frozen. That's weird. Hang on. My camera froze. Oh, now you can see the horrible design it just did. So sorry, YouTube. It froze at a very bizarre time. That happened yesterday. My eCam just froze. Is there a way? Does that lock it? I need to work that out, because that happened yesterday where it stopped updating what was happening on my screen, which is a big issue. So now you can see what it's done to the design and how much worse it made it. So what I can do, and it's cheeky, but you can go to a page, you can screenshot the whole thing. So you can use the screenshotting tool, or you can go to inspect, and then you'd press Shift Command P on Mac, on PC, that's probably, I don't know what that would be. I don't know, Shift Control P maybe, and it brings up this little run thing. Then you type in screenshot, and you have capture area screenshot, capture full size screenshot, etc. So I've basically grabbed a screenshot of this whole page. Then I'm going to take it back over here and say, hey, this is a visual reference. So I'm going to put it in chat mode. Please come up. Oops. Please analyze for a new design. We'll be applying this across the whole site, but we won't touch functionality, only design. Okay, so I'm giving it a visual reference. Otherwise, Lovable websites, in particular Lovable, always look kind of similar. Like whenever I see a site that's made with Lovable, it's like, yeah, that's a Lovable one. They have a very distinct design. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But it's unexciting, I would say. It's a lot of white space, which I like. They love using gradients. Can you see this is blue and it turns into green? That's a gradient color. They love that, and they use it everywhere. This is just made this horrible blue to green gradient, which I don't like at all. So primary blue, clean professional, dark navy. So all I've done is I've found a website that I like the look of, and I'm going to use the basic brand guidelines, or the basic brand structure over on mine. You can be a lot more sophisticated with this. Normally, if I was taking more time, I'd go to Claude. I would pull in a number of different visual references. I'd say, hey, I like this site, I like this site, this one's really cool, I like the header of this one, etc. And I'd pull them all in and have Claude analyze them and create a kind of a composite of all of those different designs. But just for the speed, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay. Sounds good. Start with the home page. Oops, I should have taken it out of chat mode. That's silly. Okay, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. Again, if this takes off and people actually want to use it and it's making any amount of money, I would just hire a designer who will redo all of this. But I'm not going to spend weeks deciding a color palette and what fonts to use before getting it into the hands of people, because that is procrastination. Okay, so it's making a checklist and then it's going to work through it bit by bit. Okay, off we go. And I'm having it redesign this homepage first, so I can kind of have a look at it, see if it's good or if it's terrible, before we go and redesign everything else. Because otherwise, we have to undo everything. And nobody tell Daniel Priestley I'm using his page. Sorry, Daniel. Have you experimented with LM Studio? Yep. Or running models locally? Yes, for local models, but kind of more for fun than any actual usage. Just to kind of learn how to do it. It's fun to do, but the frontier models, the cloud models, so Anthropic, OpenAI, etc., just leagues ahead. So for any actual work, I just use those. Local models are really important if you are an enterprise or a company and you need your data to stay secure. But the problem is it's always just going to be behind whatever the cutting edge is with the closed source models. So ChatGPT and Anthropic mainly. Okay, it's not very exciting, but it's also got rid of my header. MCP, yes, I use MCP. I'm not using it on this project because it's not really required, but for more complicated things and when I need to connect into things. The main integration I'm using here, I didn't need MCP, I'm using Apify, and Apify uses an API. It's nice and simple. And I kind of prefer to use an API when I can, because it's more of a known quantity, if that makes sense. I'm less worried about security issues or things going horribly wrong. Whereas MCP is really cool, but API stuff is boring is good sometimes. What is that color? Has this got a color picker? Your homepage redesign. Okay, I mean that is not terribly exciting. Probably it's because that's a nicer font. I don't want to get into faffing with fonts, but let's see what they're using. Probably a paid for font. So I'd have to go into their CSS to look at it. No, I don't want to do all this right now. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to have a little look. Font weight, blah 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 blah. No. I'm not going to. It looks a bit shit. Okay. It's fine, but make the header pop more. I can't just say make the font better because it's such a it's such a lame. Oh, I know. So fonts. Can you make me a test font page with different header / body font options, so I can choose. So what I'm going to do is ask it to put together a separate page, just a temporary page, where it's going to give me a bunch of different options for fonts. And then because I'm not a designer, I don't really have the language to be able to say what I want, but I can point at the one I want. I can say, oh, I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's a bit of a hack, but again, we're building this fast, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. Yeah, there are font grabber OTRs. I know I could 100% just go and grab this font, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's what these gurus are doing, teaching you what they don't know. I don't know about design. I've said several times I don't know about design. How does it do if you ask it to revert? So you can revert, absolutely, inside of Lovable. You can also, I'm pushing everything to GitHub, so I can also revert from there. I can go back to another branch. Also, they on Monday added something called Lovable Cloud, which means the integration with Supabase is internal. So previously when you did a revert, sometimes, well, you could revert to the Lovable code, but it would not revert to what's happened in your Supabase. You'd have to go and work that out in Supabase. Now, so I'm not using it on this project, but there is, you can revert and synchronize the back end and the front end. So I haven't tested it thoroughly enough because I haven't been building using that. But that should solve the problem of reverting the database at the same time, because that is a huge issue. So there we go, font test, it's pulled together. DM Sans, I do like Sans, DM Sans. There's one called Sora. I assume these are all Google fonts. I think, oh, I mean, Montserrat Open Sans is extremely, it's kind of a default, but I quite like it. Plus Jakarta Sans. I mean, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, chat, because as I say, I'm terrible at design. What's a good way to get a designer? Can Fiverr designers be trusted? Yeah, they're fine. I would generally go with Upwork, or it depends on the scale of the job. I know some obviously professional designers, but they're going to cost me £5,000-10,000, so they cost a decent amount of cash. Fiverr, I'd say Upwork is probably the place. You get a better quality. Everybody's using AI anyway, but at least those people who are using AI have the language to be able to talk to the AI about design, which I do not have. So I'm thinking Montserrat Open Sans, this one, because I really do like Open Sans as a body. It's very, very clean. DM Sans, yeah, I think I'm going to go Montserrat. Yep. Cool. Let's go with, what was it? Montserrat Open Sans. Classic but a goodie. Okay, so we are reaching the end of this stream. I'm going to quickly apply these style changes across. The plan was to launch this into beta tomorrow, so I might do some tidy up work. I might do some tidy up work off stream just to get ready for that, and then it's boring stuff anyway, it's back end. And then push it in the newsletter tomorrow. So if you do want to get an invite code, check out the newsletter tomorrow. It's free. And depending on how the now I've got this other live. I'm doing another live in an hour and a half with Hannah Foxwell, AI for the Rest of Us. So make sure you join on there. We're talking about a conference that we're running in 2 weeks here in London. And Hannah also runs a big meetup here in London. So if you are UK based, definitely tune in. It's me and I think 4 or 5 other people, and we're going to be talking about the conference, talking about AI, just kind of end of the week relaxation whilst talking about AI. Okay, so that I prefer that. Montserrat's much nicer. So that's clean. I'm not a huge fan of that blue. Okay. Not a fan of that blue. Give me a test page with color schemes. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ask for a test page because I'm unable to articulate what I want. That's fine. I'm going to use the I'll know it when I see it method, which is, hey, can you put together some style sheets? Can you put together some font sheets? Can you show me some options, and I will choose from them. It's not ideal, but it will get us where we need to go. I would say with Fiverr though, Fiverr's cheap, so if you can find somebody whose style you like the look of, go for it. Most of the work will be templated. They get templates and then they'll kind of adapt it for your use, which, I mean, it's fine. We've also used recently 99 Designs. It's pretty cool. So 99 Designs, do I mean 99 Designs? I think I do. You start a contest. Yeah, it is 99 Designs. So you put together your requirements, and then it goes out to all of their designers, and they can submit basic ideas, and then you choose a few to shortlist, and they will refine, and then you choose a winner, and the winner gets paid. So it's like a competition, and it's a really good way to get in front of a lot of people. So we used one of these recently. It's not cheap, but you get a... Do they have the pricing? Courtney says Montserrat and Open Sans is one of my go-to combos. Yeah, I know. That's why I was feeling a bit like it's a bit of a cop-out, but it is very nice. I like Open Sans. God, it's sad that we have our favourite web fonts. It's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm like, yeah, fine. Right, so we're going to do a colour test page, which is going to be here. I should have ended the stream because the commitment is 1 hour a day. So deep navy. God, it keeps trying to get this green in. Get out of here. I just bought a bike though that's this colour, so I do quite like that green. Oh, what's that? The best green colour that people keep going on about. There's a meme about there is a colour which is the best green, because it is a very nice green. Let me find it. There it is. Phthalo green. Phthalo? Phthalo. I mean, that is very nice. But it feels a bit it's not right for this particular project. Deep navy. So this one we've got at the moment is like a bright blue. I think we're going to go with the deep navy. Again, not a designer, that's why I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm asking for examples. But if and when this starts making money, I'll just hire a designer and have them redo the whole thing. Okay, let's proceed. Dashboard. So now we've kind of made a bit of a decision about text and about the color scheme. We can push ahead. Oh, the screen, what is going on? Yeah, you're right, Courtney, sorry. So the screen share keeps freezing on eCam. My screen share keeps freezing on eCam. Why? Is there a freeze button maybe I'm hitting? It feels like I'm clicking on it or something. There isn't a freeze button. Resource loading. Bandwidth issues, shouldn't be that. It's a bit worrying. It's extremely worrying. Thank you, Courtney. Right, so it's going ahead and doing the dashboard. Let's head on over there. And then I do need to finish up because we're 5 minutes past. So we've got the, what have we done? We have now got all of the scrapers working in anonymous mode, so you do not need to make an account, and you can automatically generate lead magnet ideas in anonymous mode. So it means anyone who lands on the homepage can immediately get some value. We don't send them through the hoops of, oh, cool, now you need to start an account, you need an account, you need blah blah blah. We don't do any of that. Instead, they can generate their first ideas, and when they see the ideas, it's like, okay, cool. Would you like to create a free account, and you'll get X number of credits. So the basics are in place for Anonymous, which is good for the beta launch. It just makes it a bit easier because they don't need to create accounts. And then we are doing a redesign, just again to get it ready for the beta launch and make it look a bit less generic. Although I did go with Montserrat and Open Sans, which is it's not generic, but it is very it's a very standard font selection for modern web pages. Okay, and then we broke the dashboard. Awesome. Have we broken it? Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Okay, dashboard is working. Cool. And that's looking to me much nicer, but again, I'm not a no, I don't like those. I don't like those numbers, but we're getting there. Don't look good. And the dashboard is there. I've got TikTok. All of these working functionalities basically there. Awesome. And as long as you are not signed in, you can still try. You can create lead magnets, but you do actually create the lead. Sorry, you can get the lead magnet ideas, but to create the lead magnet itself, you need to create an account, and then from there you can make landing pages, etc. We've got lots of cleanup to do, though. Things like this, missing the thumbnails, which is no good from Instagram. Is it just Instagram? Yeah, Instagram doesn't have thumbnails, and text has this very generic one. I'm not sure what we can do about that realistically. Anyway, it's the end of the stream, so I'm not allowed to push on. I will very likely be launching this beta over the weekend. I'm not sure if I'll make it for Saturday because I have another live with Hannah and AI for the rest of us in about an hour, just over an hour, and then I have to go and meet somebody. So I think we're probably looking at maybe a Sunday launch, maybe early next week. But either way, make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, and that's where you're going to be getting the first details. Cool. Thank you, everybody. And hopefully I'll see a few of you on the live at 4 p.m. With AI for the rest of us. It's going to be me and a handful of other people chatting AI, a very relaxed thing. And if not, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, and thanks again, Courtney.